We'll see what happens.
So
But
we can go down and start off with SummerSlam, or how was your week, or what'd you do, man?
let's see. We can start with SummerSlam. I did see SummerSlam. I did order it. Ugh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Whoever says I'm pro WWE is so far off the mark. It's like saying I'm a Yankees fan. You're really off. It's like describing me as like 6'9" in black. I'm really off the mark. Yeah, I read a review what a big WWE fan I am. I guess someone listened to 10 minutes of a show from 3 months ago. Yeah, SummerSlam. One thing tonight, last night, the state of California. I got a lot of friends in California. California's cool. I'm not a West Coast guy. I'm not a big fan of the state itself. I got a lot of cool people out there. Do they know that you're allowed to react at a wrestling show?
Apparently not.
What a dead crowd at SummerSlam, and tonight was even worse.
Oh, yesterday it was hilarious.
Oh,
though.
It was awful, Mitch. I mean,
It was.
There was no reaction to Brock Lesnar. Triple H had to force it. I think Triple H staying there longer to try and force a reaction out of people because he wasn't getting much of one. There was no reaction for anybody. It wasn't anybody's fault last night because nobody was getting heat or support big time from anybody.
No, not really at all.
Lackluster would be the best way to describe it.
For the 25th anniversry, too, I don't know. You thought it would be just a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, no, it just was surprising. And tonight, too, it just gets bad. And so, I think like there's expectations, obviously, for at this point for, I guess, some of the newer guys like Damien Sandow to get some reaction because he's kind of climbing the charts, so to speak. And
right.
By the way, one of my favorite new characters. I don't know what you feel about him, but I love it.
I do. I absolutely love him. He does fit that genius kind of character, and he plays it off really well. You can imagine that the guy's, he's cocky in real life, even though he probably isn't. He just does it so well he's believable, and he
and I think he takes it to another level because he obviously, I know this is not like an anti-Lanny Poffo thing, even though I have my things about Lanny Poffo, but he's far better an athlete than Lanny Poffo is.
Should I do a poem?
Yeah, you have to do a poem. But Sandow is obviously a better athlete, more of a ring person than just even like, because people start, the cartwheel, Lanny Poffo used that. Damien Sandow, once again, no gimmicks are original, but everyone puts their spin on it, and Sandow is doing a great job with this gimmick.
Yeah.
And what are you arguing about? There's not, it was enough for nothing. The genius character lasted about a year and a half, so he's not exactly legendary. And outside of his thing with Mr. Perfect, it really didn't go anywhere with the Beverly Brothers. So I think Sandow has big time ahead of him. He's not going to languish in the under-mid cards. But same thing with Ryback. I think there's an assumed reaction at this point, but the crowds just aren't into the show. And I don't know if it's just the typical lackadaisical approach that a lot of people take today. I noticed even reactions at concerts aren't what they used to be. When I see bands play, the reactions aren't. Some reactions are great still, but there's a lot of very just lackadaisical reactions in general to things. And I don't know if it's a sign of the times, you know what I mean?
I think that's probably a good excuse for it, is it is a sign of the times. I mean, not exactly the most happiest of decades,
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as Sandow is concerned, did you find it a little bit funny that it wasn't him and Brodus going at it on the pay-per-view? Because from what I understood, those two were supposed to finish their feud on the pay-per-view card, but instead they finished it tonight on Raw.
Yeah, I don't know why that was. I should have had that on last night. Like I said, as far as the pay-per-view going up and down the line, there wasn't anything that really stood out. I really got it for the Brock Triple H thing because I thought something interesting could happen. Was I surprised that Brock won? Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I tell you the truth, I really thought Triple H was getting over. I thought it was a typical outlet for Triple H to get some, get some spotlight for himself and go out that way. I thought that I smelled this bullshit retirement coming, but I thought he was going to go on top. But also, I know he re-signed. Everyone's trying to make, you signed the contract. Yeah, I know that, but who knows? But he's also 43 years old. His time has come and gone too. Him, Taker, and Michaels. It's time to take a long extended break. I know they're going to be on-air talents in other capacities, but in the ring, the three of them need to go. Even though I must say, in the ring, Triple H is still in ring shape. He looks good for his age. But he doesn't wrestle that much anymore. He takes a lot of time off like Taker does. This is why these guys last, by the way. Everyone thinks there's some secret thing, just like with Sting. Yeah, the key is not wrestling that much. They don't wrestle every week. Michaels put in a lot more work as a workhorse than these other guys did, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they turned Michaels into a bitch, into a heroine.
Oh God.
Michaels was Rapunzel last week.
Well, tonight
pulled out of cars and quivering in the corner from Paul Heyman. I thought Michaels was one of the best in the world, and he turned into a woman.
Could he blow Triple H anymore tonight? He's a great man.
And by the way, no crowd reaction. Did you notice that?
Nothing.
No, very embarrassing. No crowd reaction. No to them. I mean, I know they have researchers who research marketplaces. You know, Chicago has big reactions to certain things. New York is a place to go in certain aspects. California is just too a laid-back area. If you want to get some good heat and some good reaction that transfers onto TV and transfers to the nation and the world, you don't do it in California. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a good point. What did you think of the Triple H Brock main event last night? Because, you know, me and Joey talked a little bit about it on the Wrestling Soup post show. Yeah, last night we were talking about it, me and Joey, and just didn't feel like it was as big of a main event as they push it as. I mean, Brock Lesnar and Triple H, I really thought should have been a lot more brutal. You know, I mean, for a match that they've been pushing it as Brock destroying his best friend and making fun of his kids, it really didn't put it over the top for me. I don't know.
No, it didn't, and I thought they size up pretty good. I mean, Triple H is legit 6'3", 270, 280 guy. Lesnar's not that young anymore. Lesnar's now 33, 34 years old.
Right.
10 years ago, he would have. Triple H was in his prime. Brock was so up and coming. It would have been a real great match 10 years ago. I think it's past its prime. Brock's got injuries. Triple H got injuries. So it was okay. It wasn't. It should have been a lot more brutal. You're right. I mean, there should have been. I don't know. I think they probably could have gone a little more out than they do.
Yeah.
Kind of like he did with Taker in WrestleMania. But I guess they only give you that one WrestleMania performance a year, and then these other pay-per-views are not. I don't know. They're not worthy of that. You know what I mean? To them, not to me. I don't know. Back in the day, you see Foley give it his all on every pay-per-view. Shawn Michaels still was giving. I'm not a Michaels fan. I give him credit. Always goes all out. You know what I mean? Certain Edge, I think, always went all out. Didn't matter the size of the pay-per-view. I think Triple H picks his spots. And like I said, I really don't know what's going on in his 43-year-old body. Maybe he can go to a certain extent. And Brock, maybe, Brock's a limited appearance contract guy. Brock probably has other things he's going to do and doesn't want to risk getting hurt.
Yeah, no, I could totally see that. It's just they really built it up, though, man. I mean, they built it up.
It's really one of the only reasons to get the pay-per-view.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to think of another reason I got. It certainly wasn't that horrible song from that horrible artist.
Oof.
That was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It wasn't Kevin.
That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Next to seeing a squirrel get hit by a car, which was pretty horrible to watch. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And the girls, the ethnic girls who had a real problem dancing to straight up white boy music, It was really brutal to watch that. I felt bad for them.
It was hilarious. Tink, my girl just straight up bust out. She's like, "Oh, here come the sluts."
I mean, and just they did not. They were just. I mean, watching Natty Neidhart dance to that, it made me just rethink even watching wrestling anymore.
Yeah,
it was pretty brutal. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen in wrestling.
Exactly.
I mean, the Kid Rock thing was brutal a couple of years ago at WrestleMania, but not because of Kid Rock. I mean, he knows how to perform. It was just the way it went on too long. And let's face it, a lot of these girls they don't know how to dance. And there's really no sexuality to a bad song. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
How much, how hot can down and dirty can they get to a bad G-rated song? That's like getting down to Finding Nemo soundtrack.
He didn't even dress like a rock star or a pop star or nothing. I mean,
I thought that guy was someone who worked in the back. I've never seen that. I thought it was Jeffrey Ross fronting a band. God. Jesus, rock stars getting uglier by the day. I mean, Jesus Christ,
it's brutal, man.
Oh,
brutal.
No, what is the gimmick? Is just look like you came out of the fucking janitorial closet?
Yeah, exactly. I thought he was mowing somebody's lawn before that. It was just horrible.
Yeah, then they put his name up in lights. I'm like, this kid's not going to be a star. No chance. Never heard of him. I could care less.
Well, apparently he was platinum.
I never heard of him. I never heard of him. I guess I'm in a different industry.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of Disney artists that we probably never heard of either, and you're in the radio industry, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well.
So, I mean, I never heard of a lot of these Disney, 4-year-olds have to listen to music too, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he's done a couple of other, I think he did, somebody sent me the thing before. He did WrestleMania 26, the theme song for that, and he did Royal Rumble, I think it was last year or 2 years ago.
I can speak for most wrestling fans. No one cares.
No, exactly. And
I'm not saying that sarcastically you. I'm just saying there's no one right now who's listening to the show saying, "Oh, you guys are fucked up." Everyone's saying, "Oh, yeah, that was embarrassing."
Yeah.
That was awful. 9 out of 10 people would say that was one of the things that they never want to see again.
What do you think of the title match between Cena, Punk, and Big Show?
No, Big Show is just ridiculous. I mean, at least he's putting guys over. And Kane, they found their spot, which is to put guys over which is, they've become the, Jose Canseco's of, they had their time as a big gun back in the day, and now their job is to put people over, and that's what they're supposed to do. I was hoping that's what this would come to with Big Show and Kane, that Kane would not pin hot Daniel Bryan right now. Hot meaning he's on fire with reactions and the crowd yelling at him. I mean, come on, that yes/no thing has just caught fire with that kid.
Yeah.
And he's got the talent, and talk about a guy who's reaching leaps and bounds where he needs to be a big star for the future for this company. When these guys are on their way out. So thank God both of those guys did the job and did what they're supposed to do at this stage in their career.
Yeah. I mean, were you happy with the results?
No, I mean, a Big Show, he was there, he fit the suit, so to speak, so, they needed another guy in the ring, and I'm glad Punk is still the champion. Tonight I wish he would have killed Jerry Lawler. That would have made me like him a lot more. I mean, just the whole Jerry Lawler factor, by the way, I don't want to jump around, but I don't get that, because most people, I guess I'm going by people like us, so people listen, not just listen to the show, but just in general, most wrestling fans do not like Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
They don't like him at all. Some of them didn't even like his work. He did 5 moves back in the day. He was big in Memphis because he owned the territory. I never thought much of Jerry Lawler. I mean, outside of the Kaufman gimmick in '83, never had any real use for him, obviously. And he's gotten by on very limited announcing skills. I don't think, as a color guy, it's hard to live up to the Jesse Ventura legacy. It's hard to live up to other guys who've done a great job, even Kurt Hennig in his short-lived career.
Right.
I never found Jerry to be a good color guy, or a good side, a good guy representing the wrestling. I just always thought he was very lucky to have his job. And when he got, when he quit, when the cat walked out, his girlfriend was the dumbest move I've ever seen. And he got his job back.
Right.
I thought eventually they'd let him go again, but it seems like he's going to be here for a while. And it seems like he's some kind of guy to beat Jerry up and everyone will feel bad for you. Everyone will hate you. I don't feel that way at all. Once again, if you went by the crowd reaction, nobody cared.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. But I mean, do you think that they were kind of just stunned from? I mean, tonight was a real slow night, and I don't want to keep bouncing back and forth and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we can bounce back.
But there was really nothing tonight. I mean, there was no real aftermath.
Nah,
the only thing.
That's what I mean. Like, if I'm a big fanboy of this company, I'm doing a bad job because I couldn't tell you how many other shows I was watching during the course of it. I was bouncing back. I went to Met game. I went to fucking Bravo. I was watching Biography. I mean, I always wound back with wrestling, but it bored the shit out of me, to be honest with you. WWE is sucking cock lately. There's no doubt about that. There's no disputing that.
Yeah, the only thing that they did good tonight that I actually enjoyed, even though I knew what the outcome was going to be, was Jericho and Ziggler. That was nice, a little stipulation in there. I'm already getting sick of AJ. I'm sorry, Kev. I know you love AJ.
No, dude. I'm taught that. I was being a dick.
I know.
Her. She's awful. I hope she skips away off the Brooklyn Bridge. I mean, seriously, she's awful. Her 15 minutes is over. I mean, she's seriously over, as in over, not over like
right.
Applause and ovation. I mean, over as in it's time to bury this little girl.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing happening there. The skipping thing is irritating. Even the biggest, wrestling mark, the biggest fan who doesn't want to say a bad thing has got to say, like, wow, I really am not feeling this anymore, and it's only been a few weeks. That's a bad sign of a major pushed person.
Oh, yeah.
When you're already sick of it, because I'm not sick of Brodus Clay yet. Ryback doesn't bother me.
Right.
Certain things don't bother me. Even Vicky Guerrero, I could tolerate her to a point, because she seems to serve a purpose. And, but AJ, what is this? How many weeks into couple months into her push?
Yeah.
Done.
Exactly.
I have no interest. I turned the channel. She was one of the people I turned the channel on every time she was on.
I don't blame you. I mean, I'm kind of the same way with her. It's her usefulness has ended. Her usefulness ended when they removed her from the love triangle between Daniel Bryan
and
Punk.
Exactly. When she became GM was the kiss of death for her. Be careful what you wish for, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If that was, so McMahon is a strange man in a lot of ways. Sometimes I think he sets people up to fail. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Or he sets you up, supposedly, on the surface, it's to take the ball and run with it. But I think he knows when something's going to drop the ball. This girl will not be general manager for a long period of time if these reactions of, ho-hum continue when she comes to the ring, which they have been.
Yeah.
I know people who've gone to arena shows, and because they were breaking on me saying, Kev, I don't know what you're talking about. The girl doesn't even get a reaction. I was at a live show the other day. It was like crickets. And I said, I'm joking. I was being sarcastic. I said, I don't think she's getting a good reaction. That's why, let me explain it now. The whole thing was a work that I was doing. It was pro AJ. It lasted about 2 weeks, if you recall.
Yes.
I says it was interesting, but because that's funny. People are like, I was at a live event the other day, and she got no reaction at all. I was like, no surprise there.
Exactly.
Eventually, like I said, Damien Sandow's got something. Like you can tell, and it's not because he's a guy or a girl. Believe me, I want to see a chick get over like Lita or someone like that, but I just don't see it happening. And if you go by all these rumors, when Triple H takes over the company, he's going to totally, wipe out the diva. The whole thing will be gone.
Yeah. What do you about this Jinder Mahal Ryback thing that's starting up?
Jinder Mahal is just bizarre to me. He's not a good worker. He throws bad punches. His kicks are awful. Like I said, I want to get behind Ryback. I think the Goldberg thing is gone. It's very limited chance now when people do that. It's not very prominent anymore. And I think half the crowd doesn't know who Goldberg is anyway. So half the kids in the audience, they're 10. How do they know who Goldberg is? His heyday was 12 years ago.
Right.
So, once again, we have to go by, I hate saying this, but you got to go by majority. We're in the minority, let's face it. The people who are into the classic wrestling and no world class we're the minority, man. It's the kids dominate everything. And as Linda McMahon runs for this fucking position, this shit's going to get even more watered down and G-rated, and it sucks.
It does.
It's very rough to watch wrestling now. That's why I go back and watch all old stuff. If I'm a fan of anything, it's old school WWF.
Yeah. That's more fun.
I find myself watching, like I said, I watched Edge's documentary about 6 times because I can't watch anything. I'll watch anything with, like, stuff from, I'm starting to see E&C, which, is starting to be like back in the day, and it was like, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But today's wrestling is pretty hard to watch. It's hard, you want to get behind a character. And like I said, if there's any saving grace, it's watching, for me personally, watching Damien Sandow. He's one of my favorites right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like him. Going back into the SummerSlam card, I have a bunch of people, they're asking, and this is curious to you, are you interested in taking calls later on?
Yeah, if you want. We'll see how everything goes.
Yeah, right, absolutely. Okay, so other on the SummerSlam card, we had R-Truth and Kofi versus the Primetime Players.
First of all, I like Titus O'Neil for some reason. I'm not a huge fan, but I think he's got some charisma and he fits the bill of what they're doing. I don't like Darren Cena Young. I just don't like his guy. I hate his look. He's bizarre looking. His look is bizarre. It's not appealing on any level. So I think if Titus had a different partner,
right?
Like that guy Percy Watkins was it a few years ago?
Yeah.
The glasses, Percy Watson. If he was his partner, who he had a lot of charisma, that Percy guy, and he had the whole gimmick with the glasses and acting silly. That might be something. Like I'm surprised that Darren Young got the spot. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about how there's a Scott Steiner and there's a Rick Steiner. There's a Ricky Morton of the team. There's a Robert Gibson of the team. There's kind of a guy you need, but there's the guy who's obviously going to break out. I'm not saying Titus O'Neil's going to break out, but I just don't see Darren. I think Darren Young is a detriment. I just wish they picked Percy or somebody like that for his partner. I would enjoy this gimmick a lot more. I know you're not really a fan at all of the Primetime Players, right?
No, not really at all.
They're trying with something. It's interesting to see. Like I said, first time I've ever seen like a all African American feud. If someone was making racial claims in the WWE, like that AW guy.
Oh,
there's a good argument right there. Everyone involved in the feud is African American, and I think Kofi and R-Truth are, they don't let R-Truth be himself anymore. They watered down his gimmick. It's a kind of a shame, but I guess you have to go in stages. And R-Truth's not a young guy anymore either. He's closer to 40 than he is to 30.
Right.
And he's been around for a while. People forget he debuted in 1998. So he's been up and down the line. But I think, if you wear a belt, sometimes you're content. But I think you want to be more, stand out more as a tag team. They confuse you with the tag team because every week the Usos get pushed, and this team gets pushed, and this team gets pushed. They kind of bounce all over. They're not very steady with the tag team division.
And people are asking me why I'm not a fan of the Primetime Players. I just think they're hokey. Like, in the beginning, I enjoyed it because they were goofy. And I enjoy Goofy. I really do. But it's goofy to the point now where it's like they're just being too silly. Like they're not even taking themselves seriously. I guess it reminds me of guys trying too hard. I
think, like I said, you got to do something to stand out. And I think that's what Sandow's doing, obviously. If I've ever seen anybody who's now, with the catchphrases, the gimmicks, the expressions, really kind of knowing how to sell himself as a heel, he gets it. Ryback is still trying to figure out how to be a gray area guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Still trying to, the Feed Me More, it's starting to get a chance. They're starting to make shirts. I get, okay, they came up with something for him, and the gimmick is actually the real life because the guy literally eats like 20 meals a day to keep his size. So it's kind of like, we're going to work this real life thing where he's like the biggest, he eats and, feed me more. And sometimes those things just come up and you come up with a gimmick. I don't particularly care for a Feed Me More catchphrase. I don't think it's cool or catchy. I guess it's fun for the kids to say it, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then again, the gimmick is supposed to be this brutal guy, so I guess, to me, Ryberg is supposed to be geared towards guys, the late teen guys or the college age, or even guys our age, like a cool kind of brutal fucking, like, gray area guy, like, I can get behind this dude, I won't feel corny cheering for him.
Right.
But still, he hasn't found his niche yet, you know what I mean? I don't think he's found the fan base I don't think WWE knows what to really do with him.
That is a good point. Ryberg does kind of classify as more the adult
like
base
an adult
wrestler.
character. He's
right.
brutal. Look what he does to people.
Right.
Why would a 7-year-old idolize Ryback?
Right. Exactly.
That's the Brodus Clay is for the 7-year-old.
Yeah, our truth and Little Jimmy is for the 7-year-old, and I love our truth. I think our truth is great. He does a Little Jimmy gimmick with such conviction that it's absolutely hilarious.
And seeing him in the hospital and the kids like it and stuff. Look, like I said, he's not a young guy in his career. We think of him as that, but he's not. He's 39 years old. He's not. This is his window now to make a lot of money, sell merchandise. You can't blame these guys.
No.
I think it's all right to be cool, but it's better to be cool and make money with the kids, and have this niche where the kids are going to buy you merchandise. Wrestlers, the money they make, a lot, not too many make huge money off merchandise. But if you're over with the kids, like look at Rey Mysterio, his royalty check must be pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Damian Sandow, how many shirts? If he sells shirts, it'd probably be the guys like us.
Right.
We would buy it just to be dicks.
Buy a wine glass.
Savior of the unwashed masses. Who's not going to wear that shirt? Come on.
Right. Yeah, Rey Mysterio actually had a good match last night, too, against The Miz. I was actually impressed with that match. It surprised me because The Miz really looked good. He really kind of came out of his shell and reminded me of The Miz from 4 years ago.
Yeah, let's face it, he had but not because of drugs. If you remember when Eddie Guerrero got deep pushed and then ultimately got released, went on the independent circuit, came back and won the title from Brock.
Yeah.
Some guys falter. Like we thought for sure the Miz was. Remember, Miz was regulated to jobbing pretty much at one point, about a year ago. And he was the guy. No, also when him and Morrison were breaking out. I'm not saying you, but a lot of stuff on the shows was Morrison was the breakout guy. Couldn't be more wrong with that. I was wrong myself. Then Miz started to break out. We're like, I don't know. But then, he headlines WrestleMania 2 years ago, and after that, it was just a downhill slide for him. And I thought it was politically because of stuff that was going on in the back you would hear about with him. But he built his way back, and I thought for sure this guy was really going down a Val Venus road. I don't know what he did. I couldn't figure it out, but I remember always reporting the Miz lost again, Miz wasn't on at all tonight. And I thought he was just going to disappear. But he fought his way back. And he's coming back into the spotlight now. We never, like I said, even on shoot interviews, we never really know what the story is of why these things happen with the up and down cycles of certain wrestlers. We speculate. We all think we know John Morrison because of Melina. We don't even know if that has a tenth of anything to do with anything about where he is or why he was let go. Mm-hmm. We all say this or that. It's like I said, with this show, it's all opinions anyway. Yeah. If we're right, good for us. But, everyone's got a theory on it. But even when you get to shoot interviews, half the time you don't know if you're getting the actual story.
Well, you wonder if they're protecting their best interests anyways, half the time. Obviously.
Well, yeah. I mean, but Miz is a guy. That match was good. I'm not a Mysterio fan, not really. But I see his value absolutely to the kids and to the fans. Love Rey Mysterio.
Right.
California is always good to have him on the card. He's a draw. So, he serves a purpose. Mysterio should be here. And I smell a tag team with him and Sin Cara. Unfortunately for Mysterio, he's going to have to team up with this second-rate Mysterio. Sin Cara, not over is the only thing that comes to mind when I see this guy.
Yeah, they keep trying, man.
Him. I don't see any Miz upside. I see him just. I just think Triple H was responsible for bringing him into the country, into the company, and maybe he was responsible for bringing him into the country. But and I just think they want to, make him earn his money and ride him out. How many times that guy was injured? Normally WWE would have released you.
Oh yeah.
But clearly. They keep, letting him come back, and I think Triple H is like, no, let this mother effer earn his money. I got him here, signed a decent-sized contract. We'll just utilize him as much as we can. But No, but I'm not going by the California reaction. I'm not seeing him getting a reaction in Detroit. I'm not seeing him getting a reaction in New York. So there's no reaction for Sin Cara.
You think it's they just keep him around because maybe Triple H doesn't want to admit a fault, a mistake?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They need, and I think they need guys. Well, you need guys. You need guys on the road. You need guys for cards. Someone comes up hurt or whatever. Sheamus can't make it. Throw a guy in at least that people know, like he's been on TV.
Right.
Someone's injured. Send this guy out. You need guys. How many people in the back are waiting to work?
Yeah.
And someone's always going to come up injured or sick or flu or whatever on the road. The cards are subject to change for a reason.
Yeah. And not even talking about the FCW NXT guys that are just waiting in the background there to come up. But also, what about Daniel Bryan versus Kane?
Well, like I said, Kane did what he was supposed to do. But, of course, he had to go in the back and pitch a fit and make like he can't believe he lost. When Kane should only be doing jobs. I mean, especially at this stage in the career, that's the way it goes, man. It's just that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm always shocked when anybody's upset with not only me or anybody saying that. When you're a veteran, when you're in baseball, the same thing. You become a bench guy after a while. You were on the All-Star team 14 years in a row.
Right.
One day, your time is not anymore. You had your time. I think if you're on the best of the mid-'90s DVD and you're still wrestling full-time today, that's either surprising or that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Most people are by Kane's stage are retired at this point.
Yeah.
He's in his mid-40s. He's still in good shape. He can still. I love his. Oh, he can still go. To what degree they need him to go? They're not pushing the boundaries they did with him years ago. Of course they're not.
Right.
It's not the same thing. So what does that mean? He can still go. He can still get in the ropes and not fall down like Vader. I mean, what does that mean? That's just ridiculous. I mean, anybody who thinks someone 46 or 47 is in their prime is delusional. Absolutely delusional. It always usually comes from younger fans too. I guess maybe it's afraid of getting older. We're all older. We're all getting older. I'm old. Everyone has limitations. But Daniel Bryan is the future of this company. Kane is past.
Yeah.
So what's the argument about, making a statement about that like that? There's no argument to it. It's logic.
No, I was just kind of curious as to what you thought about the match, because the match itself, to me, was kind of a fluffer. Like
it's a fluffer because you got a guy. Bryan is a technical guy. Kane is a big bruiser. He can. When people say Kane can do anything, I don't know about that. He just jumps off the top rope with the arm down. He learned that from Taker. I mean, I don't know. Glenn Jacobs to me was never a ring, master. He's okay. He's okay. I mean, he's all right. On the independent circuit, he'll probably make a lot of money if he can use the Kane gimmick.
Yeah.
But right now it's just a guy who's from the past. But once again, if you're going by reaction, there's not much of any.
No.
But then again, in fairness to all the boys, who's getting a reaction outside of John Cena?
Yeah.
And
well, CM Punk gets his.
And,
yeah.
I'll give Dolph credit. Dolph's getting a little bit of reaction here and there.
Yeah, he is.
He's trying. God bless Dolph Ziggler. He tries.
Who actually got a reaction tonight, and I was actually really surprised? Randy Orton got a reaction tonight.
Yeah, Randy Orton gets a reaction. He gets under the table on this show too a lot of times. He's one of those guys like you almost forget he's one of the top guys in wrestling.
Right.
Whether you like him or not, I know you're not a fan. I mean, we've had this discussion before. Joey Numbers can't stand him. But he's one of the best. He's definitely one of the best. Like I said, I don't have to be a super fan of someone to admit they're good. He's good. It's just that everything else overshadows him, and he's always getting suspended. And he's on, he's off. It's like here he's on top, then he's not on top. And once again, you just kind of try and figure out why this is happening to him. You never really know. You speculate why. If you read the dirt sheets and everything, you hear rumors. But Randy Orton, make no bones about it, is a great in-ring talent, and he doesn't have a lot of charisma. His father didn't have a lot of charisma. That's why he was a side guy for Roddy Piper.
Right.
Bob Orton, did some silly things, but he, on his own, Orton was a deer in the headlights without Piper once he was in WWF. Then he teamed up with Rocco, and then he was gone. I mean, I remember that.
Yeah.
But he was great in the ring. But Randy lacks a connection with the fans. And it's funny because the fans love him, I think. If people who really love Orton love him. But I don't think he really connects with the fans. We said that before. He has this disconnect problem.
Right. Oh yeah, it's pretty clear too. It's weird that people will cheer for him, but it's like he doesn't know how to respond to it. He
doesn't know how to respond to it. And I think, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, your opinion. Chris Benoit had the same problem.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, when
a little bit of a connection problem with the fans.
Yeah, definitely. Chris Benoit
didn't know how to react. And they flipped him so many times. Heel, babyface. Same thing with Orton. Orton's been more of a face now for a long time.
And considering
guys, I think Orton, first of all, is a better heel because I think he's more heelish in real life, and I think that always helps out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think, once again, it's merch, it's reaction from the kids. The girl, obviously, Orton is geared towards women mostly, even though I see a lot of guys who cheer him on.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you see, I'm not sure what his character is. I mean, I know the Viper, he's a snaky guy.
Voices.
I know facially he's starting to look like a serpent. But, I mean, it's weird. He doesn't look anything like he used to look when he was younger. He's more of a pretty boy. But he's in great shape. I know he's enhanced himself, and he's been, on suspension for stuff like that. But he's a talented guy. But for me personally, I find it hard to get behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as really cheer him on or get edge of your seat kind of stuff. Because I've been edge of my seat for guys like The Rock, who I wasn't a super fan of, but he got a reaction. He got you to care about the match.
Yeah.
Even Foley got me like that, and I wasn't a big Foley fan. Old Foley had me edge of seat matches many times, live and watching him on TV in his prime. But no, these guys just don't do that anymore.
It's kind of funny because, I mean, when you bring up Foley, it's like here he'll be working his gimmick as Mankind or Cactus Jack or whatever, and then he'll bring it back down to the fans. He will make a connection to the fans through the camera or through interaction, something like that. You're right. Randy Orton does not do that. And it was kind of funny that Chris Benoit didn't do that, considering his two best friends that he was working with at the time was guys like Chris Jericho, who
connects totally with the fans,
and Eddie Guerrero, right?
But who else is the other best friend that didn't connect to the fans? Dean Malenko had no connection.
Oh yeah, but Dean Malenko was never really a big guy, though. I mean,
no, wasn't a big guy, but even when he was pushed, it was easy that he didn't have a connect. He doesn't, and I hope people understand what we're saying is that not that he didn't care about the fans, or whatever. It just doesn't know how to respond and doesn't know how to just. It's to kind of sell an thank you from the crowd, or I love you guys kind of thing, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be genuine is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make him a bad person. I don't know Dean Malenko in person, but he never really connected with an audience.
Would you think it was kind of funny? Because I was looking at this earlier tonight, and I was seeing Randy Orton come out there and AJ standing behind him, and the whole voices in Randy Orton's head. I can almost see some sort of maybe relationship or something sparking up between him and AJ with the whole crazy thing.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to do something because AJ's already stale. And being cute is great. Being cute is great if you're cute, or the cute girl on the block is being great.
Right.
You get to the front of the ice cream truck every week, or people who take your bags and bring them up the steps. That's wonderful. But after a while, you say to yourself, what am I really getting out of this, jocking this person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, some people get this weird self-fulfillment from jocking another person, whether it's in real life or whether it's a character on TV. Now, some people, that's just fine. They have this delusional satisfaction. But I think, for most wrestling fans, we want something. Show us something. Show us a reason why you're on television.
Right.
That's why people resent the Kardashian girls. What the fuck do they do? What's their talent? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I
talk about it all the time. We see hot girls on the D train who blow Kim Kardashian away every fucking week. If you're here in New York and Manhattan, there's girls who look like her every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's what's the big deal about her? Big ass and nice hair. Name about 50,000 people
WWE
in Manhattan who look like that. But the point being is okay, AJ can wrestle. But when I seen her wrestle, I wasn't very impressed. And if she's okay, now she's not going to wrestle. She's going to be some sort of mouthpiece.
Right.
Her promo ability is cutesy at best, but it can get irritating real quick.
Of course.
I mean, I just don't see I'm surprised they picked her out of all the girls. Then again, if you go by the talent pool to pick out of, once again, who are they going to get?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like they were really behind Eve Torres. I saw her, by the way, for about 5 minutes on that Stars and Stripes show tonight. Did you watch that at all?
No, I did not.
I just wanted to see.
I didn't want to watch it.
Nicholas Shea was on it. That was about enough for me. That was about enough for me.
WWE.
I mean, Eve Torres is a good-looking woman. She's another one who's just lacking something. I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
I like Eve now. Eve has something. Just her look and the way she's so dominant and the way she talks to people. When she wrestles in the sporty gear. It doesn't fit her. But if she came out being the business savvy, pantsuit wearing bitch, I'm I don't know, man. There's something about Eve that I'm on board with.
Like I said, I think she's appealing in some sense. At this point, I would definitely take her over AJ if there was a contest. Who should we push? I wish sometimes they put that on, the WWE teleprompter. Who do you guys want us to push? The insider terms. Who should get a push and who should get shown the door?
Yeah.
I would definitely vote for Eve Torres. And out of all the women divas you want to call them now, Yeah, I'd say Eve Torres is the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see it. Caitlyn, I ain't feeling that at all. To me, it's another bulky blonde chick. I don't know. I've seen this before with Natty Neidhart. I've seen it before with Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
She's a hybrid of Beth Phoenix and Natty Neidhart, and how well are they working out?
What about the new? What about Oksana's new push with her
Oksana,
bow?
great ass for a white girl. It looks good. It looks good in those dresses. I wasn't when she was with Teddy Long. I just wasn't feeling that creepy gimmick.
Right.
But I like this dude. That's Claudio from.
It's Antonio Cesaro.
He's
Claudio
great talent.
Castagnoli.
He's a good wrestler. I hope they do more things with him. The gimmick of saying things. God, like I said, God bless some of these guys. They're trying to find a yes, 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 or something like that. Daniel Bryan has. So now saying something to the audience in different languages. Yeah, it's something different. We've never heard this before. Once again, he's got a, he seems to smile a lot and stuff for a heel. He's got kind of a Captain Ate the Canary kind of face. Once again, a guy I still is finding his way, I think, with his character, with his Antonio Cesaro. Crowd isn't invested in either liking him or hating him yet, but I think it'll come. I think he's really talented. I think he's a great wrestler. He's a big guy. He's not some little luchador type of guy.
Right.
And good for WWE once again pushing a guy who years ago people would probably think wouldn't have a chance in hell of getting over in this company. WWE has really turned the corner with you never know who's going to get a push from WWE. There's no the cookie cutter thing. I think is gone because look at all the people who are wearing titles.
Yeah.
I think the whole everyone's got to look like Batista days are over. I think they've been over. I think anybody who says that is not paying attention to who's wearing the championships here. But I like him. I got to see something more, and he's got to do something like brutal or something to somebody to really get the crowd to hate him.
Right.
Just saying the crowd's stupid in different languages. I mean, hasn't that been done before by the guy who used to do the French tickler? What was that guy who used to say something in different languages? The French guy.
What was it, Rob Conway?
No, Rob Conway's partner. What's his name? Dupree.
Rene Dupree.
Yeah, we've heard people say bad things to the crowd in French before. Once again, every gimmick is not original. Everyone puts a spin on a new thing. But Cesaro's got an upside. I think, like I said, the new crop or the new breed of guys coming up, I don't got a problem with. I just think it's the crowd has to connect to them or they won't last very long.
Right.
I don't know if WWE's got a lot of patience.
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that now that he's got a title, they're going to do something more with him. It's kind of like now you can't ignore him. But they did ignore Santino for a while, even though he had that title. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get some kind of actual push on SmackDown. I mean, I think he should. He probably should get a little Raw time too out there. But you're right. The whole goofy gimmick of let me say this in 15 different languages. It doesn't appeal to me.
It's very, what it is, Mish? It's very 80s.
It feels like I'm hooked on phonics, Kev.
It feels like something that, it feels like, do you feel like back in the day Jimmy Hart would have managed them?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, listen up, my protege here says this, and look how intelligent he is. Or Bobby Heenan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
He's smarter than you. He's educated in 5 different languages, It's a little bit of throwback gimmick, but sometimes you got to go with that. But they got some good talent. You can't say WWE's just a bunch of meatheads with guys with no talent. That guy's very talented. These are guys who are excelling in Ring of Honor, which is a respected underground federation for a lot of people. So these guys are excelling in the big time. They came to the big dance and are winning titles. So how can you argue with that if you want to see developmental guys go? And I'm always down for new guys to win belts.
Now, what do you think about the I guess the only way I can call it is the mess, because I really don't have anything positive to say about it between Sheamus and Del Rio from SummerSlam to tonight, etc.
That I'm not a fan of. I like Sheamus. I like Sheamus to a point. I mean, I liked him better as a heel, but I see him in the hospitals, and you see all the clips. He really connects with the kids, like him a lot. I mean, he's a big redheaded, guy who you don't see a guy who looks like him very often. It's like he's got a unique look. So for wrestling, I thought you've seen everything.
Yeah.
But he's got talent. Despite his like a little bit of a lisp, like a Cody Rhodes thing, he can talk, he can cut a promo. Crowd wants to like him. He sells merchandise. I even saw someone wearing a Sheamus shirt in my neighborhood the other day, walking down the street.
Huh.
The Brogue kick shirt. But I think like I said, I think that's the whole thing. If they were in the back saying, listen, we got him and Sheamus and CM Punk, we got to turn one of these guys heel. We can't have 2 white bread baby faces because we got to have somebody chasing for the belt who's a fan favorite. We can't have 2 guys holding the title or white bread. So it was obviously not to change, even though normally you'd say, yeah, Sheamus, but not anymore. Sheamus is so, he's such a character for kids and everything like that. I don't think like he's isolating adults. I actually was afraid that when Sheamus won the belt the way he did from Daniel Bryan in the 20 seconds, if you remember, he got booed the next night.
Oh yeah, he did.
But now he's getting over. But Del Rio is another. You know what's funny about Del Rio? I didn't like him for the longest time, and now I don't mind him too much. But I don't like his feud with Sheamus. I don't like these two feuding. They just don't. Like I said, once again, connection. There's no connection with their feud.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's really interested in it. It's not going to be a big to-do if either beats the other. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, you've done already with this feud too. There's nothing to it for you yourself.
No, I haven't been into this feud for a while. It's like, pass it off, move on. I know that supposedly WWE is really high on pushing Del Rio, and of course Sheamus is Triple H's boy, so they like having this feud. The company likes this feud, but as far as character advancement, I really don't care about either of them. If they both leave this feud tomorrow, I'm not going to be any better of a wrestling fan for it. I could care less. And I mean, I thought it was absolutely hilarious that tonight, what was it? Cole was asking him, "What do you define yourself as?" And Sheamus turns around and he's like, "Well, if Del Rio calls me a peasant, then I'm proud to be a peasant." I'm like, so that's your gimmick? You're a peasant and you're proud of that? It's like, it's completely goofy. What the hell is Sheamus? Other than he's Irish.
Well, like, the whole thing of the hooligan thing. But that's off the table because that's not a gimmick. If anything, you would think they can turn Cesaro into like kind of a hooligan, kind of a soccer hooligan or football hooligan, as they call it, the sport down there. Sheamus originally was supposed to be like this hooligan character, I think, but once again, that's off the table. So now they're going to make, like, what is he, the new Irish, almost the American dream in Ireland, like kind of every man, but he's not every man. He doesn't look like every man. He's not, conventional looking. I mean, I don't know. Somehow I don't. I just think, he's one of the top 5 most over guys and one of the top 5 merch sellers. And WWE, I think, is just happy that he's in the driver's seat, so to speak.
Yeah.
He is Triple H supports him big time. And when Triple H, who any time now can take over this company when Vince steps down, which you keep hearing more and more rumors that Vince is going to be stepping down sooner than later. And then we're going to see interesting changes in the company, I think. A lot of people are like, it's going to stay the same. I don't know about that. And I don't know how much of a vested interest Vince takes in any of these guys. I always think it's all about what Stephanie and Triple H think. I don't ever put Vince in the equation anymore. Do you?
No, not really. I mean, I think I kind of pulled him out when he stopped when he was stopped making regular appearances on Raw and stuff like that.
Well, if Vince's last guy to really him wanting to see push was Drew McIntyre, maybe Vince should be questioned.
Yeah.
I mean, and legit. I mean, that was a gimmick, but it was legit behind the scenes. Vince was really behind Drew McIntyre 3 years ago. And, like I said, it was part of a gimmick, but it was behind the scenes legit. And look at this guy now. Is Drew even here anymore? And if he is, where is he? But, like I said, I think it's just, we've been waiting, wait and see. We've been waiting to see for years now because everyone keeps saying, when's wrestling going to get hot again? Who knows? Yeah. When's the next big thing, no pun intended, coming around? Because even Lesnar, once you see Lesnar now, doesn't it seem like Lesnar's been back for a year now?
Yeah, it feels like he's been back for a while and done not much.
It has. And literally, we've only seen him on TV 5 times.
Right.
And I think, and I like Brock. Don't get me wrong. I liked him a lot when he came on the scene. That I was so happy. In 2002, 2003, I was happy with what was going on in this company. Believe me. After 2001 being rough with that failed invasion angle, by the time Brock came in, and then he got hot with the title, him and Angle going at it, and you had new guys coming up, and you had Cena, Batista, Randy Orton were coming. Shelton Benjamin was new then. I liked what I was seeing. So if I was like a super fan, I'm about 10 years removed, to be honest with you.
Here's something I threw out on SummerSlam. After the Brock and Triple H match, a couple of people in the chat room were asking before, well, where do you think Brock is going to go after this? And a lot of people wanted to see matches between Punk and Brock and stuff like that, and John Cena and Brock. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it's probably not going to be that. If anything, I could see, and this is just me, and I just have this feeling, especially since he already worked the angle with him, Shawn Michaels and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
I don't want to see that, to be honest with you. I think their styles contrast too much. I don't. Shawn Michaels is a heroine now. He's a woman. I don't. He was afraid to walk the halls of the WWE a couple weeks ago because Brock and Paul Heyman were looking for him. I mean, that's not Shawn Michaels. I don't know who that is. I mean, that was some sort of effeminate character who had to be saved by another man. I don't get that at all. Pulls him out of the car like a bitch, carries him to the ring.
Oh yeah, right.
Carries Shawn Michaels to the ring. I mean, I seen Trish Stratus carried to the ring. I've said that was just bizarre to me. I didn't like that at all. And I'm not a Michaels fan, but I didn't understand. I mean, what are they going to do to Michaels now? What they do to Jim Ross all the time, humiliate him?
I don't know.
I mean, what was that all about? Was that about getting Triple H over, or showing Michaels that, dude, come back and get this guy over, or whatever? And do you need to get Brock Lesnar over? I didn't get that.
Who's that guy?
Well, carrying him to the ring like that, I just thought was very strange for a top guy.
Right.
I mean, top guy. I mean, Ric Flair doesn't mind doing stuff like that, but Ric Flair's a lot older, and he was doing, Ric Flair was 55, getting carried to the ring and bleeding out for everybody and stuff. I thought Michaels was going to kind of walk away with dignity and not, I mean, you ain't seen anybody carrying Bret Hart to the ring. I ain't going to let that happen to him.
There's a guy in the chat, Disco Inferno, says, Kev was just talking about old guys who need to put over young talent.
But not Michaels. No, but Michaels is not an active competitor, dude. That's not,
Right.
Let's be clear about what I'm saying. Kane and Show are still here. Mark Henry's still here. Michaels is retired. He's in the Hall of Fame. That's it for him. He's done.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to come back. Why is he trying to be a heat seeker for Triple H, for Brock Lesnar? Is there really a need to beef up that feud? Like you were saying, Mish, it should have been something more on its own.
I agree. Absolutely. It should have been. It should have been two guys that literally just wanted to just tear each other apart. I mean, Brock Lesnar had that little nose busted in the beginning of the match. You saw a little trickle of blood coming out. I'm sorry, but that kind of match, what it was supposed to mean, there should have been a lot more fucking blood. I know it's a PG era, and maybe that's just the Attitude Era lust talking from me, but the reality is I really thought those two guys should have walked out of there trickling blood from various body parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a pay-per-view. I think that whole no blood thing should be off the table when you're paying $44 fucking dollars for a fucking pay-per-view.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Amen.
And like I said, to be clear, like I said, so there's no confusion. Older in-ring competitive guys should be putting over the younger guys, not Hall of Fame guys coming back to get carried to the ring like a Rapunzel. That's not what you should be doing. Absolutely not. Like I said, Bret Hart would never let himself be put down. Yeah, you get punched in the ring, get knocked out, but not carried to the ring like a bitch.
Right.
Come on, that was just ridiculous. Anybody was not comfortable? Anybody was really comfortable watching that? You thought that was proper? What was Shawn Michaels is quivering in fear of Brock Lesnar? Was he here when Brock was here last time?
Right.
Just because they didn't meet in the ring. I mean, it was strange, and how can you say it wasn't? One of the best guys in the world being carried to the ring like a little kid by Brock Lesnar. I mean, for what was Brock's not new. Brock's here for a short term. What's he putting Brock over for?
Yeah.
Brock's not a rookie.
I don't know.
Brock's a guy who's now a veteran because he's been out of the ring so long. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been comfortable with Antonio Cesaro doing that to Shawn Michaels. There's no point for that.
Right.
And there's got to be some end game. And I am thinking, of course, everybody else is thinking, and what you just said, Mish, there's going to be, I'm not big on seeing it, but you're probably right, there's going to be some Shawn Michaels payback against Brock Lesnar. If not, that makes it even more strange that Michaels agreed to do that.
What do you think about the whole way that match finished? Now that Brock Lesnar, everybody thought it was going to be Triple H. A lot of us wanted Brock, but I never in a million years believed that Brock was actually going to win that match against Triple H.
Oh, neither did I. I was shocked. I tell you the truth, I was shocked. I was watching it with somebody, and she was like, Brock Lesnar just won? I was like, she's not a fan of wrestling. She was watching it with me. And I was like, holy shit, he did. Now,
right.
when I said, something's going to happen, he's going to get bitched out, or, he lost the battle but win the war. But no, it didn't even go down that way. Brock walked out of the ring, walked to the back. Unfortunately, not to a lot of I don't think people knew how to react. I'll give the crowd even that much. Maybe they didn't know what to do. I was almost uncomfortable with Triple H when it was silent. He was struggling to pick himself up. I'm like, are they going to chant? Are they going to boo him? Then he went for the big sorrowful sell when he was like, sorry, and the crowd felt bad for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was playing, I don't know if it was, I don't know about all scripted or whatever. I mean, it depends on what wrestler says, they didn't tell us what to say. But I think Triple H said, shit, I got to get a sympathy push here. And he said sorry 3 times to the crowd. And you can obviously, see it. I don't know if he was originally scheduled to say that or whatever, but I think Triple H, he's like, I'm one of the top guys in the world. I'm one of the biggest stars in this company's history. Whether people think I married Stephanie or whatever my push was, I was getting pushed before I was involved with this chick. I'm going to get over. So I think when he saw he wasn't, I think he just went for, okay, I'm going to make people feel bad for me.
Well, the crowd was chanting.
That's the sign of also a guy who knows what to do in the business to get himself over. I mean, there was no way Triple H was not going to get any kind of accolades from the crowd and just leave to a dead crowd. He did what he had to do.
The crowd was chanting, "You tapped out." I mean,
they started to chant that, but then people were like, cheering him more in a babyface way. I was confused to the reaction myself. And people, if you were there, I don't know. I probably would have walked out after Brock won, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have stayed. I wouldn't have stuck around. If someone would say, ask me that question, if I was like a kid or whatever, I probably just would have walked out to beat the traffic. I wouldn't have stayed for Triple H to get because I know damn well that he's going to get some sort of send-off on Raw. This is not it for him.
Oh, of course not. Oh, the news sites are all reporting, is this the end of the Triple H's career and blah, blah. I'm like, oh, come on.
I got into his career was over a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was the, I know I'm flipping around a little bit. Did you hear about this whole Fred Durst debacle because he flipped off the camera during the pay-per-view?
Fred Durst hasn't been relevant in the music industry in about 14 years. I mean, seriously, who cares about Fred Durst? I speak for a lot of people I know in the metal and rock scene. No one cares about Limp Bizkit. Hasn't in years. I haven't heard anybody play their music at a show since 1999. Seriously.
I think most of the kids that watch that, probably just...
An irrelevant celebrity.
Yes. An old man flipping off the camera. Mommy, why did that old man flip off the camera?
Fred Durst hopefully held on to his money. He was at a team with Rapcore or whatever you want to call it. Took off. He milked that for all it was worth. It died a death that it needed to die.
Yeah.
Some other bands survived it, the PODs and stuff like that. Limp Bizkit was never that good. I mean, everyone wants to argue with me about that. I could talk about that all day. I thought Fred Durst was not. What was the talent there? Songwriting was ridiculous. Nookie and real classic songwriting.
Did you do it all for the Nookie, Kev?
Yeah, they call it classics. Yeah, classics. When we get a jukebox, we make sure we have Limp Bizkit on there right next to Zeppelin. But a silly band that I never had any use for. If anybody listening to them liked them, good for you. But do you like them now? Do you go back and play? Would you blast that music out of your car and not feel humiliated doing that?
No.
Embarrassing.
No.
You could play Barbie World and be more cool in a fucking car. But I didn't get the point of giving him FaceTime. He's not relevant now. He's not. Once again, what are you going to argue? He is relevant. Name it. Why is he relevant? For what? When was the last time he had a hit song? Kid Rock at least is still relevant. Kid Rock plays the stadium. Kid Rock sells out. He plays country. He plays. I'm not even a big Kid Rock fan, but let's acknowledge someone's success and when someone who's not anything anymore.
Right.
So I didn't see what the big and maybe that's him to get some attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
I'm sure WWE's not stupid. They tell people, we're going to pan the camera to you. Oh yeah, I'm going to flip people off. I'm sure he worked that out with the people in advance. But that's dumb anyway. And let's not get it wrong. My feelings for Fred Durst aside, or Limp Bizkit, that's the whole to go up in arms over the middle finger. Once again, it's a fucking pay-per-view.
Right.
It's a fucking pay-per-view, man. It's the same company that had Cat, pull down and show their tits, fucking 13 years ago. They're in the good old days. But you can't do anything anymore in this company. It is very annoying. I see everyone's always, fuck Linda McMahon. It's not, I'm going to blame Linda McMahon. Blame her whole family for turning the company into this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not blaming Linda McMahon. I mean, I just see a lot of anti-Linda stuff because of these things, and it's just like, this is the direction these people are going in. I don't think it would have mattered if Linda was in, going for Congress or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was going this way a long time ago.
We got a special guest on the line, Kev.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Hello?
What's up, everybody?
Oh, God. Oh, good Lord.
I'm finally finished. I got phone.
Oh, God. Are you finished in the biblical sense?
I was on the phone for 4 hours. I did not see Raw. I did not see Bill O'Reilly. I got to see nothing, but I had 4 hours of convo with a very, very nice person.
That's good.
Not my mother. So I actually just came on here to say hello to everybody.
It's Don Open Book Tony.
No, well, I will say one thing about her.
Okay.
Right? And I know Kev will.
Poor girl.
I know Kev will appreciate this, and people who watch Fox News will appreciate this.
She's white?
No. But this is the first time I talked to her. You know what's cool about her?
What?
She sounds exactly. You will never hear her, but if I put you on the phone with her, she sounds exactly like Andrea Tanteros.
Really?
Yep. Exact same voice.
Exactly.
Yeah. If I closed my eyes and thought Andrea Tanteros, you would.
Well, we don't want to discuss what you'll be doing later.
So how was Raw tonight? I did not see it.
Oh God, we have to recap it again.
Yeah.
No. The only thing
Mitch summed it up in one word.
I got up to get a glass of water, and all I saw was, I think, CM Punk decked Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, I wish he kicked his fucking head off. I mean, once again, Don Tony, they're trying to use Jerry Lawler as some kind of barometer of being a heel or a baby face if you beat him up. And I don't get that because, speaking for a lot of wrestling fans, no one gives a fuck about Jerry Lawler.
No.
You know why they do that? Because they don't have JR to do it to anymore.
Yeah, poor Jim Ross. At least Jim Ross was a respectable announcer who has, a resume like no other calling matches. I mean, Jerry Lawler is just lucky to have his job because who else are they going to get? Rick Steamboat can't cut a promo. That's why he's not behind the mic.
Yeah.
I've always, like I said, Jerry Lawler's always lucky to have his job, and I don't get this whole let's put the heat on CM Punk and hope next week when he comes out on the intro to Raw he's going to get booed for what he did to poor Jerry Lawler. I don't know about all that. I guess they're out of ideas.
Well, it's the little kids. Number one, they don't know Jerry Lawler's history in wrestling, so they think that, this is, a good new guy, good guy, or whatever. And also for the kids, they still don't know yet to cover their behinds and their private parts, when they're around Jerry Lawler. So they really don't know anything about Jerry Lawler right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Lollipops for everyone.
Lollipops for everyone. And then Shawn Michaels gave a nice send-off speech to Triple H that got no reaction. They went to commercial.
Yeah. Well,
they got like 2 golf claps.
Oof.
Yesterday was epic because when Triple H lost to Brock Lesnar, the whole crowd in unison turned on Triple H and said, "You tapped out. You tapped out."
Yeah, we were talking about that, but there was also a confused reaction, delayed reaction, because it went a couple of different directions. But at one point when he was picking himself up off the ropes, there was no reaction. I mean, you didn't have to lower your TV for anything because there was not a lot going on there.
No.
It was very dead. And when Lesnar won, they didn't know how to react to him. And tonight, Lesnar opened up the show, by the way. He came out, him and Heyman. Heyman is brilliant as usual, like he always is. Yes. Heyman doesn't know how to cut a bad promo. He's always going to be one of the best. And, Lesnar does what he does. And they had the referee come out threatening that he probably beat up Scott Armstrong. He didn't. He said, good job. To be honest, right, Mitch, didn't you think there was going to be a little bit more to them coming out?
More to it, definitely. Just the fact that he's saying that, I'm not going to be around. It's kind of like, I was expecting more gloating, more fuck your family, more of that kind of rubbing it in the McMahon face kind of response.
And it wasn't. It was anything they put him over and said what a warrior Triple H used to be and blah, blah, blah. Right. And here's a guy who tore his quad. And when I was announcing, I watched him as this in-ring greatness. I don't know. I guess that was that they had to do that because, Brock won last night, so go out and put me over. I don't know.
Well, it's funny how poor Stephanie is no longer insulted since you don't come out to confront the insulting the behavior of those two tonight. But the funny thing is that, Triple H, in my opinion, yesterday stole Brock Lesnar's thunder. So instead of Brock Lesnar having the victory, Brock Lesnar leaves the ring right away, and then Triple H has to stay there for an extended period of time because the longer it takes for him to get up and struggle, and the longer it takes for him to leave the ring and hold his side, it tries to get the crowd to turn a
and say and mouth the words "I'm sorry" several times.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like he let everybody down, and all the sympathy, and then the worst part of it all. Somebody, pipes into Jerry Lawler's headset, make sure you mention, could this really be Triple H's last match? So everybody that orders the pay-per-view already has sympathy Triple H leaving the ring, and then we're all supposed to be left with, is this his last match? But all the focus is off Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing. I mean, I get, we get it. Brock is not a full-time talent, but we get it. You're not going to put all the glory behind a man who signed a short-term deal, who most likely will not re-up for a longer extension deal, depending on what the deal, unless he was going to fight somebody of note, whether it's Taker or Michaels, and it was going to be a big main event pay-per-view. And I think also, dare I say, Brock, if he's going to do anything, he has to be in the main event, would be part of his contract. Would you guys think that's the case?
Yeah, but
you think Brock would take the second banana roll at this point, or he's so protecting his character that unless I'm in the main event, I'm not working.
But I will say this. Brock Lesnar is the only reason why I watched it yesterday.
That's what we were in sync on that one, Tony. We didn't even talk about that because I said the same thing. I thought about it. There's a lot of money in this day, these tough times. And I'm like, we're going to drop I'm like, what, fuck it. I always watch the big 4 pay-per-views. It's tradition around here. I wasn't feeling it, but maybe Brock and Triple H will be maybe even a fucking 30-minute to 40-minute classic. And it just, it was what it was. Was I super pissed about wasting money? Nah. But, you take it, when you're a wrestling fan, it's a gamble. It's like a fucking riverboat gambling, ordering these pay-per-views. But you could have got, as Mitch said, you probably should have got a lot more than you got. And especially should have got more blood, aggression, blood, sweat, and tears, I guess, for us and for them.
That's true.
There was your heart isn't in it. You want it, like we were talking about edgy or seat matches, where even at WrestleMania, Taker, God bless him, even with dumb haircuts, he still gets you into the match. But you didn't get that with this match. You weren't on the edge of your seat for nothing. You were just basically watching it and surprised that Lesnar won. If there was anything, Lesnar winning shocked 90% of us. And by the way, I didn't see anybody. Maybe I want to say, I knew what I called that. I didn't see anybody calling Lesnar a clean finish.
No.
But again, it didn't even matter he won because Triple H stole all his thunder at the end.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's classic wrestling stuff. You know that, dude. When,
I know.
We've seen this before, even dating back to the Florida days with Dusty Rhodes. There's a way to win even when you lose. That's the classic old school seasoned veteran knowing how to do it way, man. They talk about that all the time. Even when you lose, you can win even when you lose. So it's like, and Triple H, who's more of a political powerhouse than Triple H in the business, far more than Hogan.
Yeah.
The Hogan of today, even yesteryear. Hogan was never actually, almost literally a part owner of a company.
Yeah.
Even though TNA, we won't get into that now.
Because I was on the phone for 4 hours, I drank a lot of water. I got to go pee, so I'm gonna.
Well, you really just make announcements, don't you?
No. I'm actually gonna leave it tonight. I'll let you two chat again. I didn't want to interrupt it. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. And I was such in a yapping mood. I figured, let me come on for 5-10 minutes.
Sure, come on anytime you like, man. Say hello anytime you like.
It is called the Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle Show.
It's called the Castle Miss Show.
You got to remember something. I had this conversation with Missionary earlier tonight, and we won't get into the details of it, but the one thing that will be certain that, next Monday, 11:15, there will not be phone calls to my house. So I have to make that clear to her that 11:15 is my time.
That's right.
Yeah. But tonight was...
Is it your time now?
Yeah, that's it. Lay the rules down early in the relationship.
She already knows a lot.
Lay the gauntlet down now. Why wait?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We're happy for your social situation.
Are you getting into WWE's top